Okay, I am in Old Leaksville. Taking a right on Lindsay Street from Patrick Street and heading over towards South Hamilton. I'm kind of going uphill a little bit right now, and over to the right of me is the old house that I talked about in a previous video. Let me think about this. Yeah, and the one that was called Kung Fu Hat, I was sitting on the porch. Somebody's here doing something, because it looks like there's some weed killer sitting there. Which interests me. But the reason why I'm walking today is because our county has had a sheriff for, Lord, it's got to be 20 years, who, if I'm not mistaken, was able to finagle himself all the way on up to the top dog in the North Carolina Sheriff's Association, and that got him the golden chocolate ticket, because I'm sure it smells like something brown once you're up there. And I've seen pictures of him in the Oval Office. Not everybody's been in the Oval Office, and I dare say there are people that'll never be in the Oval Office. Nope, you can't get there by accident either. So I've just passed a kind of a place where a whole lot of car accidents seem to happen in this town. Down there,
Come on,
near,
get out the
where
street.
South Hamilton and Center Church intersect. And you know, from our porch, we can hear the accidents when they happen, because we're one block over, literally one block over as the crow flies from this intersection. But you know what? I didn't see any ALPR devices anywhere near that corner, where it seems to me you might want to know who hit who. You know, I mean, we've lived in our house since 2002, and I bet we've heard easily 50 to 70 kind of toe curling crashes occur over there. And but no, there's no automatic license plate reader on any of the tall posts around it, which is weird to me. In a way, it sort of gives the insurance companies a little bit of wiggle room. Now we're fixing to pass a driveway with a couple of those pineapple pine cone looking things, which of course are the tops of the pillars on either side of the driveway. Pillars everywhere. Yep. Right there in front of us all. Subdivide those pillars across your whole front yard so that you can get the seething energies to protect you all the way down there into the drain at the far end. You gotta wonder what comes out that drain. And I am still seeing no ALPRs. That's why I'm walking. Because this morning I saw a video, and then I saw a few more videos. You know, when there's an outlier on a topic that's a little bit alarming, and you can't find anything to corroborate it, it's best to get out. It's a game. One thing the Lord does is provide witnesses. All right, now we're getting down here to another four-way intersection. We'll see if there's any of those license plate readers down here. Wonder what those big five-pointed stars on the sides of people's houses, chimneys, and garages means to them. right? I know what it means. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 posts. All of them got stuff attached to them. But, and I tried to kind of visually memorize what this technology looks like when it's attached to a pole. Nope, nothing here either. Right here in Old Leaksville. Heavens to Betsy, look at these mansions, these brick mansions with all of their lovely pillars. Surely there are things to protect. Seems to me that law enforcement might want to be able to help these wealthy voters out. But in this town, I could not shame a person for thinking that they might get robbed, because stealing from people's already normalized. Okay? Any 501c3 that would not willingly allow itself to be audited and scrutinized doesn't want to be, for a reason. I'm just saying. Alrighty, this place here used to be we're still in the district boundary of the social district. This is where they do these street parties with bands that play, witchcraft music. Right? Popular witchcraft music. Fleetwood Mac cover band, Journey. Come on, get out the street. Remember, the keyboard player from Journey's married to Paula White, that super false preacher chick. God, I love this old post office building. It's beautiful. Really well made. Really nicely ornamented, too. And nothing they've ever put in it never became anything that anybody I know was participating in. Boyd and Vonda Higgs, North Star Realty Company. North Star. How about that? I taught both their boys. James A. Farley and John M. Carmody, Federal Works Administrator. I'm going to pause this and get a picture. Okay, because the Postmaster General and the Commissioner of Public Buildings and some local folks put this up in 1939.
As I kept reading, I kept seeing headline after headline about the controversies surrounding these cameras. Cities and towns across the US are having to figure out how to deal with them in real time. And I wanted to understand what critics were most worried about. For one thing, there are problems when ALPRs don't work the way they're supposed to. Testing on flock cameras has found flaws in the accuracy of their license plate readings. Police errors in interpreting ALPR data has led to several cases of innocent people being pulled over at gunpoint.
Police later admitted they had mistakenly identified the car, saying the plate numbers were similar to the one reported stolen.
And research on their effectiveness shows that while they do lead to more stolen vehicles being recovered, they have little to no effect on crime rates more broadly. But for critics, the more alarming question is what happens when ALPRs do work the way they're supposed to?
Of course it works. That's not the point. If we put a tracker on every human being in Denver, we would solve every crime and we would get a whole lot of other bad unintended consequences of that.
We could have basically zero crime if tomorrow we required every person to wear a body camera and fed the footage into a police database. But the Fourth Amendment doesn't allow that.
Obviously, this is a good law enforcement tool, but at what societal cost?
The societal cost, of course, is privacy. ALPRs have already been used to monitor attendance at gun shows and places of worship and political rallies. With enough data points like these, ALPRs give law enforcement the kind of information that was previously only available by putting a GPS tracker on your car or analyzing data from your phone, both of which require getting a warrant under the Fourth Amendment. That's the one that protects against unreasonable searches and seizures. Flock argues that its system doesn't infringe on the Fourth Amendment because license plates are not personal information. They're issued by the government for the express purpose of identifying vehicles. But even if license plates are public, the record of everywhere that they've been can be very private. Flock also argues that ALPRs do not track people. They simply take pictures. But even if ALPRs on their own do not track people, people with access to a large network of ALPRs can. And the question of who has access to Flock's large network of ALPR cameras is at the core of this entire controversy. The outlet 404 Media obtained records of searches that had been made on Flock's nationwide network. Every search on that network requires police to list the reason for their query. In these search records, officers had entered keywords like immigration. In the US, different states have different laws. Usually that's not an issue. Police in the state where a crime takes place have jurisdiction over the case, and police in the other state aren't involved. But if police in this state are actively sharing their ALPR data to a network that police in this state can access, suddenly they are involved with that agency's work.
So if we look at like abortion access, places like Texas, it's illegal to help somebody get an abortion. In California, it is illegal to impede somebody's access to an abortion. These are diametrically opposite ideas of what a crime is. And so how do agencies even interact anymore? How do they share data when they're working at cross purposes?
To avoid those issues, in some states it's illegal for local police to share license plate info with out-of-state or federal authorities. Often these laws are specifically to limit that information being accessed for immigration enforcement, in order to promote trust between immigrant communities and local authorities. But we have evidence that even in states with those laws, police have been sharing their data anyway. You can see in these maps from the watchdog site Eyes on Flock that most California police departments follow that law. But some police departments, like El Cajon, share their data all over the country.
Here in California, we have this real struggle with cities are handing out this data whether they're supposed to or not. It is not as controlled and responsibly used as I think the average person would assume that it is.
The 404 Media investigation didn't just reveal that police were labeling their searches immigration. They were also specifically inputting ICE, which stands for U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and ERO for ICE's Enforcement and Removal Operations Division. All of this suggested that local police were running searches on Flock's database on behalf of federal agencies. Local law enforcement in Colorado were even caught giving their Flock passwords to federal authorities. Those federal authorities have then run ALPR searches related to immigration enforcement. In town halls across the country, residents have expressed concern that federal agencies might be able to access the Flock cameras in their communities.
Flock is not the company that we trust not to share our data. This is not, right? They're going to sell it to the highest bidder.
The intended purposes are all noble goals, but these cameras and this technology does so much more than that.
The only way to protect our residents, especially immigrants and people seeking reproductive care, is to not collect the data in the first place.
Some cities have put their contracts with Flock Safety on pause or ended them entirely. Flock now claims it will block any searches of a state's ALPRs if those searches violate that state's law.
When there is state legislation, we help our customers not break it.
And following 404 Media's reporting, Flock removed Illinois, California, and Virginia from its National Lookup tool. But it raised the question of whether federal authorities might have direct access to Flock cameras. Flock, at first, said they don't.
So you're in 6,000 municipalities.
Yeah.
Do you have any federal contracts?
We don't.
No, so no contracts with ICE?
No contracts with ICE.
1 month after that interview, Flock admitted that they actually did have a pilot program with U.S. Customs and Border Protection.
Well, now that company admits immigration agents do have direct access.
Flock has insisted for months that federal agents do not have direct access to local police departments' tracking data. We now know that's not true.
A previously undisclosed program gave U.S. Customs and Border Protection access to a Flock account, which allowed federal agents to send invitations to police departments for one-to-one data sharing. In August 2025, Flock announced that it had paused all operations with federal agencies because of concerns from communities across the country over how that data is used. But the pause is only temporary. The company says it still has plans to work with federal agencies in the future.
I'm not sure that we have really fully grasped what that power is. That's an incredible power that really only if you believe in like God or something, that's that kind of godlike power. To be able to fully analyze and be aware of an entire population's movement and motions and what that means about them, right? I'm not sure that we have really fully grasped what that power is. That's an incredible power that really only if you believe in like God or something, that's that kind of godlike power. To be able to fully analyze and be aware of an entire population's movement and motions and what that means about them, right? I'm not sure that we have really fully grasped what that power is. That's an incredible power that really only if you believe in like God or something, that's that kind of godlike power. To be able to, I'm not sure that we have really fully grasped what that power is. That's an.
I guess the map is telling the truth. Yeah, I guess the map's telling the truth. I think I can cross here. Sure can. Oh, look at that. Another foundation. A foundation. Somebody's starting a foundation, a damn foundation. We're going to take a picture of this. Why? Because if you got a foundation, that means people can give you cash money, checks, PayPal. You're good at stealing. You don't have to let anybody know that's how much you got. Right? Oh yeah. Hair after salon. People sure like the hair to look nice, don't they? All right, we're gonna make this work. Everybody's got their pumpkins and ghosts and orange shit all out for Halloween. The colors of fire are the Halloween colors. Man, even this big 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-way intersection does not seem to have a license plate reader. I wonder if anything I've seen today was a license plate reader. I imagine most of them are just small business security stuff. It's the middle of the day and people are already getting tore up at the bars. Life is hard. Lord knows for years I was one who would argue for having a relaxing drink after work. Yes, I did. Dollar General's got some good security around their joint, that's for sure. Those first places gonna get looted. After they loot the stores, they're gonna start looting other people's houses. And that's when people are gonna run out of ammo shooting at people that they might have sat in church with just a few weeks ago. And they were stupid enough to give them a key or tell them which rockets hit under, and they've already come and got it. Right? Manifest destiny. Eminent. I think his mama taught him how to read. Yep. So, I'm going to get off of here and let you do your own work in your own town. Basically, why did I just walk all around town? Because I want to get online, do a Google image search of all that tech that I took pictures of, find out what they are, makes, models, and so forth, when they were made, so that I can know how recently they might have been put up, and rule out the ones that are clearly not surveillance devices, which may be some of them, I don't know yet. The only way to do detective work is to keep digging, and most people have never held a shovel in their life. There's that beautiful old flight of stairs, stone. There was a much bigger building here once. We just build on top of cement roofs mostly. I love the lady in that house there, but she's got that same sign, that same clown sign out in front of her yard too. I think she's just a little bit too trusting. I do. So I want to introduce you folks to D-Flock. The pictures you've been seeing skipping by were me looking down at a not-for-profit at the end of my street, close to the end of my street, through not all, but a whole mess of the different kinds of other than Google Earth views that we're all being watched by. And I didn't see a single license plate reader in the whole town of Eden, according to their map. And I thought it might be wise to do what they suggest and go scope out and see if there are any, and if there are, let them know. That's going to be the next step, so I guess I'll have to make another video because this is going to probably eat my whole afternoon up doing this research. You know, Daniel said, the way you're going to know that the Messiah is coming back is that knowledge will increase. And I'm here to tell you, if it was 40 years ago before digital cameras, this kind of detective work would take forever to do. Yes, it would. It would take forever. You'd have to get the film developed, right? You'd have to wait for the postal service, or as long as it takes to drive something somewhere or fly it somewhere, rather than just attach it to an email and circumvent all of those solids that slow us down and just pass all that data right along. So I'm getting off. I'm going to have to go in here and cut out some dead zones. I know I am. At one point I had the damn thing in my pocket while I was talking. Love you, and we'll see you in the next video with a little bit more about D-Flock, which is a way to take your community, take a look and see if they're keeping an eye on you. Compare what is presently in the database with what you observe with your own eyeballs. Document it. Let them know where it is. They'll put it on the map. For those of you that live in cities, you might want to walk the 1 block around your property wherever you rent a place and ask yourself, how many eyes are on me no matter what I do, no matter who I'm with, no matter where I'm going, what time I leave, what time I come back, how much of that information is known about you, and how do you feel about that? Peace out.
Shout out to Will Freeman's website, dflock.me. It is the easiest way to see the location of ALPRs near you or around the world. It also has some really easy to follow instructions about how to submit ALPR locations to the map. I've been doing it for all the ones that I've found in real life that were not labeled on maps yet. It's a cool website, and it is the exact kind of open source intelligence tool that I like to explore in my videos.